Yo, what up? This is your boy Max, also known as Pursuit, also known as that one guy on the camera. I was walking right now and I want to talk to you guys about what's been on my mind lately and what's been bothering me and what's been mentally stimulating me. So basically, I was walking and I started thinking about life, choices and our purpose and our experience and the circumstances which govern our life every day. It's kind of complex to explain in a video, but basically I was trying to understand the components of space and time and how it affects our daily lives, and ultimately what choices do we have in free will. For example, you have a test, right, and you have 4 answers, usually give you like a multiple choice question. You have A, B, C, and D, and you have to pick one of those letters, I guess, that corresponds to the question, and hopefully you get it right. But when it comes to life, it seems way more complex. I'm trying to figure out choices and their magnitude and what causes our choices, what causes us to move our steps. I think the basic answer is I govern myself, I make my own choices. But in reality, are we truly governing our own choices? Or do we think we're governing our choices? For example, I have the camera, right? And it has different settings. It has automatic, it has aperture priority, it has auto mode, it has manual, like I said. Like, it has a bunch of settings, and ultimately, when you go back to manual, you can change the settings, you can change them how you want to. You have more control over the camera. But when you go to auto mode, autofocus, or auto shooting, you just get the camera, you press a button and it gets a picture. So you see the difference? It seems like most of us are in auto mode. We simply react quick. I think like we think fast, and it's so complex, we don't understand the magnitude of it. But it's truly mind-boggling, and how choices can have such an impact on oneself above all. I think also on other people too, because someone's bad choices can affect another person. For example, if I was a rebellious son, it would affect my mom. If I did a crime, it would hurt somebody. So our choices do have an impact. They do have a certain resonance upon this universe. And they're very sacred, our choices, because, for example, if I have a kid, right? And ultimately I have sex, and one sperm cell goes into that egg, and that creates a life. So basically one choice can create a whole human life, which will dictate my own life for a lot of years. So it's something very sacred and very awe-inspiring to know that our choices have such an impact. I think that's a problem with people nowadays. They don't see the magnitude and the influence they have on other people, and how even one simple act of mercy and one simple act of forgiveness can have such an impact on somebody, or simply being generous. The most common answer you'll find when they make choices is survival. First of all, survival, and it's usually selfish. What do I have to gain with this? So like, it seems like those are the 2 main factors. For example, you see a soldier killing somebody. They know that person can be innocent, but they're gonna react. So it's survival mode. So they kill that person, and you ask them why did they do it? They'll say it's survival. So that's one of the factors. Selfishness. That's pretty evident. I don't have to explain that really, because it's selfishness. It's not that complex to figure out, nor that hidden or mysterious. But I think, this is my opinion, I don't mean to offend nobody. I think when it comes to making choices, the best principle to focus or to determine your principles is probably love. First of all, love, truth, of course. Why would you want to make a choice out of bitterness or hate or lust or whatever? It's going to have a resonance across the whole life. Like, you can make one small choice and it's going to affect your whole life. That one wrong choice. Or even doing something you don't want to do. Like studying something to become rich. Let's say you do get money. Let's say you do get what you want. But at the end of the day, are you truly happy? Is this what you really wanted? and it just creates like a wave, a wave of reactions, and that's the that's the magnitude of space, time, and our choices. But I don't want to get too deep on this video, but I don't think we have full control of our choices. I think our subconscious and our there's powers above us that do influence our choices. Um, I think that's evident in this world. For example, like people often make hasty choices under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or their parents influence them, or their teachers, or like there's so much variables at work. TV, media, what we read, what we listen to. So there's powers or forces beyond us that influence our minds because our minds are receiving so much information and we're digesting so much that our minds are pretty much on auto mode. Like, for example, someone puts into my mind, love, 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 love in my mind. I keep reading about love. Of course, I'm going to love on naturality. I'm not going to do the opposite effect because my mind's simply responding to the feedback it's receiving. So that's me talking about choices right there. So our choices do seem to have a big influence upon this universe and ourselves at the end of the day. And it's just mind-boggling. I think it's mind-boggling because the chances of me even surviving and living right now, it's a miracle. People often take for granted this whole experience. Like, we forget that we're pretty much stemming, like, where do we come from? We came from a little sperm cell. We're floating on this planet, this ball, in the middle of some limitless space. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have the perception and awareness that I do have. I know there's a lot I don't know. Because ultimately knowledge is endless. There's so much words, so much languages, so much numbers, so much codes, so much. It just goes deeper and deeper to the DNA, to time, space, our mind, the most advanced organ in this universe. And the mind is really complex. I think we take it for granted. We go to school, we have to memorize all this stuff to get a job, right? We simply memorize a bunch of textbooks. We take tests of memorizing, and we do forget our archaic nature, our natural form, which is pretty much existing, growing food, having a shelter, reproducing, and we're programmed to be this person that serves these corporations, these companies that try to put consumerism into our minds. Consume this, consume that. You need this, you need that. And when we don't have those things, it brings down our self-esteem, so we become enslaved to them. I'm not saying luxuries are bad. I'm not saying we don't need those things, but I think it's good to have a balance on them. Our society cannot function on consumerism society. We can't live like that. We have to think beyond ourselves. This universe is not dependent on ourselves. It's kind of like, what do you give to the universe? How are you helping the planet? How are you helping God? We can't give anything to him. All we can do is give our time and our dedication. I'm right here in the middle of some mountains. I'll show you all the view right now. But yeah, I mean, I think nowadays everything is so selfish and it's self-inclined, and we're forgetting our principles, our values as human beings. Everyone's so caught up in space. Well, not space, but everyone's so caught up in the system. Of course we all have to make a living. Of course we all have to make something with our lives, and that's the whole test of life. Will we sell out, or will we stay true to our principles? Of course there's laws that govern us. There's I think one of the main forces that govern our lives is fear. We have fear of not surviving. We have fear of not having food. We have fear of going through problems. We have fear of someone not loving us. So we tend to feed off fear. And that's pretty animalistic once you think about it. It's kind of like an animal seeing a human being, you know? It's like, oh, an animal, and it goes into this state of mind of fear. And it's so hard to even talk to people nowadays because everyone's so defensive. Another thing, I think we live in a really possessive society. You know how people talk about spirits, like possessing and all that? Think about humans. They love to possess. They want to possess a bunch of clothes. They want to possess other human beings. They want to possess their riches. So I think it's materializing in human beings, if anything. That whole inclination, that whole train of thought, you can say. So I'm out here in the mountains and I'm just running through my mind. I might upload it, I might not. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling and if I feel secure enough to upload this. I wonder who's gonna be able to relate to it. Maybe I'm too judgmental, maybe I am overthinking, but at the end of the day, like, I have to say what's on my mind. I have to give out my best to give out light. I don't wanna be selfish and hoard all this information. I wanna bring it out so people can conversate about it and people can understand where I'm coming from, because I'm not speaking for myself. Like right now I can care less about my ego and how I'm coming off. I'm doing this for everybody so we can look down on ourselves and see where are we going, what's the future, you know? Like, it's obvious we're also divided. What divides us? Politics, all these religions, classism, ageism, all these isms, genderism, if that's even a word. It's hard to be united in a society that's so divided, because there's so much points of view, so much people have different views and beliefs and motivations and desires. So, but one thing we all have in common is we all have one sun. We're all living in this planet. We all seem to be oppressed, but I think we're oppressed in different ways, because some people do have stuff, some people don't have anything. So we're all oppressed, but in different magnitudes and different ways. It's just thoughts going through my mind, you know, like how governments, how they're starting to control us more. Think about all the signs you see on the road. Like, your mind is automatically reading that and reacting off it, you know. So just think about your choices. Think about your mind. Think about your body. Stop feeding it garbage food. You only have one body. If you eat fast food every day, think about that. Who wants you to eat fast food every day? Who wants you to get fat? Who wants you to get unhealthy? People that hate humanity, people that don't care about your well-being. And I'm just one human being out of 7 billion. I just saw an eagle right now, flying right in front of me. And this is my advice, my opinion. I think we have to try our best to see the universal principles behind matters. For example, the law of cause and effect, what you sow is what you reap. Love, justice, wisdom. Like, you gotta let certain factors determine your choices. You can't let your heart follow you, you know. Like, for example, let's say I was on a diet and I saw a Snickers bar or some junk food. I would not follow my heart. I would see the bigger picture of it, you know. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to see the bigger picture of this life. And I'm not trying to judge no one's lifestyle. I'm nobody to judge. I don't know what you're going through. You don't know where I'm going through. But I'm telling you, like, we need to start changing soon, because the way things are going, it's all going to explode. The more we ignore it, the more it's coming out. It's foaming up. It's stirring up. And I'm not saying this in a spirit of critique. I'm not saying it in a spirit of bitterness. I'm saying it in a spirit of love, a spirit of wisdom, and a spirit of humanity, ultimately. Well, let me show you guys the view right now that I can see. so I can end this video. Here's the view. I'm not sure if it's, oh, there we go. I have to get back up. Yeah, it's getting dark, and let me change the focus on this. Yeah, it's getting pretty dark. I have to start heading back home because I don't have a light. I'm probably gonna have to run. So peace out, guys. Hope you loved the video. I know it was kind of long, and maybe I do sound pretty boring at times, but it's all good. One love. Give me your responses and your feedback. Any point of view is appreciated. Just keep it conversing, and peace out. Take care.